This is the review for the semester exam. I'm going to do several problems. And number one, what best describes a domain? Now we know that anything under here, under the radical, if it's negative, it's not going to be part of the domain. So you're going to have to write 3x minus 5 has to be greater than or equal to 0. And that's going to be a domain. So what you're going to do is you're going to solve for x. So you have 3x is greater than or equal to 5. Divide by 3, so x is greater than or equal to 5/3. So your answer is B. Number 4 says, what is the inverse? So we have y equals 2x cubed. Remember, with the inverse, you have to switch the x and the y. So you have x equals 2y cubed. Divide by 2. So you have x divided by 2 equals y cubed. So you're going to get the cube root of both sides. So you have y equals x over 2. And then it's going to be the cube root of x over 2. Now you notice it isn't definitely A. It won't be B and C. So remember that when you have an exponent as a fraction here, the 3, the 1/3 means that it's going to be the cube root. That 1/3 means cube root. So your answer will be D. I'm going to go ahead and do number 8. It says, what is the solution for the absolute value of 2x plus 3 equals 5? So remember that you have two answers here. It's 2x plus 3 equals 5. And we also have 2x plus 3 equals -5. You subtract 3 from both sides. So 2x equals 5 minus 3, which is 2. So x equals 1. The next one is to subtract 3 from both sides. You have 2x equals -8. Divide by 2, so x is equal to -4. What is the solution for the absolute value -4 minus 8 greater than 20? Remember, you're going to have to write -4w minus 8 is greater than 20. You also have to write -4w minus 8 is less than -20. And you're going to solve the inequality. So you have to add 8. So you have -4w greater than 28. So w is less than -7 since you're dividing both sides by -4. So it could be A, not B. W greater than -7, that can be it. So it's between A and D. You add 8 to both sides. -4w is less than -12. Divide both sides by -4. So w is greater than 3. So your answer is D. For number 13, remember that you have to subtract first 5 from both sides. So you have the absolute value of q divided by 3 is less than 5. So now we can go ahead and remove the absolute value. So we have q divided by 3 is less than 5. And then we have q divided by 3 is greater than -5. So we're going to have q is less than 3 times 5, which is 15. And we have q is greater than -15. So which one's greater than -15, less than 15? C. It says, Lai's bag contains red and blue beads. So we're going to use R to represent the number of red beads and B to represent the number of blue beads. The number of red beads in the bag is at least, so red is at least greater than or equal to 2/3 of the blue, right? There are at most 400 beads in the bag. So what beads are we talking about? The red and the blue. So there's at most, so it's going to be less than or equal to 400 beads. Which system of inequalities could be used to determine the number of red beads in Lai's bag? So this one is wrong because it's greater than. This one could be right. This one, you'd have to move the B and the C, so that's wrong. So it's between A and C. I'm going to say it's A. Which of the following is a graph of y equals the absolute value of x plus 2? Remember that the plus 2 is within the absolute value, so that's going to go ahead and shift the parent function to the left 2 units. So it's not going to go up 2. And it's not going to, it will not go to the right, nor will it go down, so your answer is A. Number 18, it says, what transformation would occur to the parent function y equals the absolute value of x to arrive to the new equation? Now we have y minus 2 is equal to the absolute value of x plus 3. So we're going to have to move that negative 2 to the right. So you have y equals the absolute value of x plus 3 plus 2. So the 2 is going to shift it up. So testing strategy C and D are obviously wrong. And since it's plus, it's going to move it to the left, so your answer is B. Number 20, what is the solution for the absolute value inequality? So we have the absolute value, and we have 8k minus 9 minus 6 less than negative 4. Before you can do anything with this inequality, you have to add 6 to both sides. So the absolute value of 8k minus 9 is less than 2. So you have 8k minus 9 is less than 2, and you also have 8k minus 9 is greater than negative 2. You add both 9 to both sides, so you have 8k is less than 11, and then you divide by 8. So k is less than 11 over 8. You add 9 to both sides in the second inequality. So you have 8k is greater than 7 divided by 8. So we have k is greater than 7/8. So it won't be A. This is less than, this is greater than, so they're switched around. And it won't be C. So your answer is D. K is greater than 7/8 and K is less than 11/8. The length of a rectangular shaped deck is 5 meters longer than its width. If the area of the deck is 66 meters squared, what is the length in meters? So I recommend that you draw the rectangular deck. I know this is 9 degrees on each side. It says 5 meters longer than its width, so here's the width. So the length is 5 meters longer. Okay, so let me do this again. Here's my width. It's 5 meters longer. To find the area of a rectangle, it's length times width. So the area is equal to the width plus 5 times W. The area is 66. So it's going to be W squared plus 5W. So we have W squared plus 5W minus 66 equals 0. So if I wanted to solve this by factoring, I have W plus 11 times w minus 6 equals 0. So the width could be negative 11, which is not true. Or the width could be 6, and that is true. Your answer is A. How do I check? 6 plus 5 is 11, and this is 6, so the area is 66 meters squared. 26, which solution satisfy the system of linear inequalities? Because I don't have access to a graphing device here, I'm going to sketch y is less than 3. Y is greater than negative 2. So it's going to be between these two here. Whatever the solution is in this case. We have 4, 1. And we have 1, 2. Six, negative 3, that's not going to work. We have 0, 0, and this is 0, negative 2. That's not going to work because there's no equal here. So your answer is A. So I'm going to move the negative 2y to the right. So I have 2y equals x squared plus 6x plus 19. Divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. So y equals x squared divided by 2 plus 3x plus 19 over 2. Now, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to find the x value using the axis of symmetry. So it's negative b over 2a. Negative b is negative 3 over 2a. 2 times a is 1/2. So it's negative 3. Now I need to find y, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it. I found the vertex. I know that the x value is negative 3, so I went ahead and put it into the equation, and I got 5. Remember, the formula is y equal a times x minus h squared plus k. So you have y equals, in this case, a is 1/2. X minus h, in this case, it's going to be plus 3. K is plus 5. So your answer is C. Which option gives us f of x rewritten in vertex form as well as the function's correct axis of symmetry? So I know that x is equal to negative b divided by 2a. That's the axis of symmetry form, and we know that a is equal to 1. B is equal to negative 4, and C is equal to negative 12. So negative B is 4 divided by 2 times, well, it's negative, and B is negative, so it's 4. And that's 2 times 1. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. Based on that information, the answer should be D, but let's check further. We're gonna find H by substituting into Y, so we have 2 squared minus 4 times 2 minus 12. So it's 4 minus 8 minus 12. 4 minus 8 is negative 4. Negative 4 minus 12 is negative 16. So the vertex is 2, negative 16. The formula is y equals A. A is equal to 1. X minus 2 squared minus 16. So let's check. A ball is thrown in the air. The relationship between the amount of time the ball is in the air in seconds and the ball's distance above the ground is represented by the equation. So we're saying that it's negative 16t squared plus 30t plus 4 equals 0, because that's when it's going to hit the ground. You notice that all of these are divisible by 2, so I'm going to factor a 2, which what I'm doing is I'm dividing. So negative 16 divided by 2 is negative 8t squared plus 30 divided by 2 is 15t plus 4 divided by 2 is 2 equals 0. And I'm going to solve this by graphing using the slide and divide method. Negative 8 times 2 is negative 16. So you have t squared plus 15t minus 16. And we know that it's going to be t minus 1 times t plus 16 equals 0. Remember that we took out the 8, negative 8. So we're going to divide by negative 8, divide by negative 8. So a negative divided by negative is positive. In this case, it's going to be negative 8t minus 1. And this is t minus 16 divided by negative 8 is 2. So we have negative 8t minus 1 equals 0. T minus 2 equals 0. So t equals 2. That's going to be the answer. And this one, because that's going to give us a negative answer. So the answer is C. We are going to use the quadratic formula. A equals 2, B equals negative 6, and C equals 17. X equals negative B plus or minus square root B squared minus 4 times AC divided by 2 times A. So we have negative B, which is going to be 6 plus or minus square root 36 minus 4 times A is 2, and then times C is 17, divided by 2 times A, which is going to be 4. So we have 6 plus or minus square root 36 minus 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 17 is 136 divided by 4. And by looking at the discriminant, it's going to be negative. So you have 6 plus or minus square root of negative 100 divided by 4. We know that 6 over 4 reduces to 3 over 2. Plus or minus, this is I square root of 100 over 4. So this is 3 over 2 plus or minus I. Square root of 100 is 10. So it's 3 over 2 plus or minus 5I over 2, which is D. It says which equation is equivalent after the square is completed. So what you want to do first is you want to make sure that that leading coefficient A is 1. So what you do to each of them, each term, you divide by negative 4. So you have x squared plus, these two are divisible by 2, so you have 3x over 2, and this is minus 1/2. Now, you're going to move the negative 1/2 to the right, so you have x squared plus 3x over 2 equals 1/2. In this case, it's B. We're looking at B. You're going to get 3 over 2 divided by 2, and then you're going to square it. So what is this going to be? 3 divided by 2 divided by 2, square it. When you multiply, it becomes a fraction. So B equals 3 times 1 is 3 over 4. And you got to square it, okay? Like I just finished telling you. So you get 9 over 16. So this will be 9 over 16. And this will be 9 over 16. So this is x plus 3 over 4 squared is equal to, multiply times 8. Multiply times 8, because 8 times 2 is 16. 8 plus 9 is 17, so it's 17 over 16, and that's going to be, the answer is going to be A. Once again, for number 44, it says which expression is equivalent to 3x squared plus 6x plus 3. You want to divide each of them by your leading coefficient. In this case, it's 3, so it's x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 0. You want to move the 1 to the right, so you have x squared plus 2x equals 1. You get the value of b, divide that by half, and then square it. And that's how you complete the square. B divided by 2 squared. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, so it's 1 squared. So this is going to be x squared plus 2x plus 1 is equal to 1 plus 1. So this will be x plus 1 squared equals 2. So this is x plus 1 squared minus 2. I'm sorry, this should have been here minus 1. So negative 1 is 0, 0. So it's actually x plus 1 squared, and you did factor a 3. So your answer is A. First, we had to factor a 3. So we held that to the side, and then we just worked in completing the square. Here we have a plus 1. We got to move it to the right, so it's minus 1. To complete the square, you have to get the value of b divided by 2 squared. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. So you add 1 here and you add 1 here. Well, the problem is you have negative 1 plus 1, negative 1 plus 1. So that's 0. Now you can bring back the 3 since you factored it. So it's 3 parentheses x plus 1 squared. We're going to factor completely, so we have 3p squared minus 2p minus 5. 3 times negative 5 gives you negative 15 minus 2p p squared. Remember, we did the glide and slide method, and we're going to go ahead and factor this. So this is p minus 5, p plus 3, since negative 5 times 3 gives you negative 15, and negative 5 plus 3 gives you negative 2. Remember, you still have to divide by 3. So it's 3p minus 5 times p plus 1. The answer is A.